Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. Good morning, Earthlings. Welcome to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here today. It is the 22nd of October. Sun sign is in Libra, last day. Moon sign is also in Libra, double Libra day. So it's a day about clearing our karma. Last chance of having all of this Libra energy before we transition into the next sun and moon sign. So we know all about Libra now, karmic balance. We could see the aspects that we have going on today coming up. We have an opposition taking place here between Uranus, sudden change, unexpected events, and the moon sign. So this is something that will occur within the next hour and a half. This conjunction will take place. So think of the teeter-totter. On one end you've got Libra. On the other end you got Uranus. So you've got one end wants to have the balance, and the other end wants there to be unexpected change, something suddenly it's just going to change things. Those are the two that are on the teeter-totter. So you just know how it works. If they both stay on, everything works good. If suddenly one of them jumps off the teeter-totter, the other one is in for quite a surprise. We'll see how this all plays itself out. Later in the evening, we have a conjunction here between Mercury and a Libra, which means they're both right next to each other. So communication and this desire here are working together. And then in the evening time, Jupiter jumps into the mix. And Jupiter and Libra are going to be working together. Jupiter is going to be expanding out those ideas of truth, justice. All right, tomorrow we have the eclipse, solar eclipse tomorrow. Moon changes to Scorpio. Our sun changes to Scorpio, and the moon itself is also going to be changing into the next sign as well, which will also be Scorpio. Okay. Moving from here, let's go look at our numerology for today. Numerology for today is the number 3. Number 3, not number 11. That was yesterday. Number 3. Let me show you how 3 is arrived at. There we go. 1 plus 0 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 4 all adds up to number 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Here on the tree, we can see that this is number 3. And we have number 12 here, the Hanged Man, which comes before the 3. And then we have the Libra and the Libra. So we know all about the Libra. We know all about the High Priestess. The Empress. Today we're going to look at number 12, because I told you we were going to start looking at the numbers before the final reduction. So today adds up to a 12, which then becomes a 3. So there's 12. Let's look at that, the Hangman. Hangman is an important character. We see someone hanging upside down. Sometimes when we see the word hangman, initially people think, uh-oh, bad news. However, this means the suspended mind. You have a person, male, representing the conscious mind, hanging upside down in order to get a new perspective of things. Here, this would be where the waters is. down in this area. So the head is down in the area where there is illumination coming because things are looked at differently, a different perspective. It says the key is full of meaning for an occultist. Its primary meaning is reversal. This refers to the reversal of thought, a point of view held by those who know from that held by the unenlightened multitude. The adept realizes that his existence is dependent upon cosmic law. Another meaning of the card is suspended mind, which the Hindus called samadhi, samadhi, in which the exalted mental state the aspirant reaches the divine consciousness of pure being. The letter mem means water or seas and refers to root matter, as do the crescents in the upper garment. The gallows is the shape of the letter ta, key 21. Its 12 loop branches are the 12 signs of the zodiac. The edges of the jacket of the belt form a cross and the circle symbolical of positive and negative modes of life expression. The white hair and the halo about the head suggest the hangman is the embodiment of the one light. The entire figure represents a pendulum at rest. He is unmoved and immovable because he realizes that no person ever thinks, moves, or acts himself, but simply is an expression or expresses the thoughts and motions and activities of the one identity. Okay. This represents Neptune. It's a water sign. Hebrew letter mem, which means waters. This also relates to the ideas of illusion, illusionary things looking through water. Things that are illusionary also relates to the film and TV industries because you're creating these realities, these illusional realities, movies, TV. Current moon phase is 2% of the way full, making its way down to the new moon. The autumn deepens. The great square Pegasus shines ever bright higher in the sky at nightfall. For now it's balancing on one corner. Late in the night the season turns red, upright, very high to the south. Okay, tomorrow there's going to be a partial eclipse of the sun. That will happen tomorrow afternoon, so we have plenty of time to talk about it tomorrow. Don't need to bring it up today because I will be here before it arrives. Today is a 6-tone day, a 6 earth guided by the earth, all in the wave spell of the human, which is the lessons of free will. Phrase for today is I organize in order to evolve, balancing synchronicity. I seal the matrix of navigation with the rhythmic tone of equality. I am guided by my own power doubled. Space weather, solar wind is 441.4 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is between 2 and a 4 at the moment. Coronal holes, nothing that is open at the moment, but we are going to receive the effect of ones that were already facing us. M-class possibilities up to 65. X-class is hanging at 20. 25% chance for a geomagnetic storm in the mid-latitudes. In high latitudes, it is still up to 40. Okay, and what else? Alright, a little heads up notice. Tomorrow, Thursday, October 23rd, the moon will pass in front of the sun, off center, producing a partial solar eclipse visible from almost all of North America. The action begins at approximately 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Okay, and the Jewish calendar, right here, today is 28th Tishri. Daily thought, the quantum leap. There are times when moving forward step by step is not enough. There are times when you just can't change what you do, how you speak, or how you think about things. Sometimes you have to change who you are. You need to pick both feet up off the ground and leap. Sometimes you need to change at your very core of being. Alright, there you go. That gets us started. UFO News is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Thank you very much, Dirk. First story takes us to Petaluma, California. Thought they were airplanes, but they were too close and crossing paths. I pulled the car over and recorded them on my iPhone 5 with the highest zoom. This comes to us from the 13th. When you enlarge the screen, you can see it better. They're right in the middle. They're very faint. There's 3 of them. See them right here? 1, 2, 3. They look like they just faded out. The video itself's 1 minute and 9 seconds long. Moving from there, we go up to San Francisco on the 11th for an air show. Here's the planes. Here's something else that is not part of the grouping of planes there. San Francisco, California, October 11th. I was watching the Blue Angels with hundreds of people on rooftops. I used my iPhone 6 to shoot several slow-mo videos. I never got them quite right above me. 5 days later, I watched the videos, and then I saw them in slow-mo. I saw something pretty incredible. There must be hundreds of videos like that. 10,000 plus people were watching. I did not see anything in real time, and you cannot really see anything in real time on the video either. But since I was shooting in 240 frames per second at slow-mo, object moving across the sky, making a loop to look at the flying planes, while they look like they are almost still and taking off at 10 times the speed of the jet planes is clearly visible. I have the original video untouched on my iPhone 6. It could be validated by experts. Okay. Very interesting. And here's a slower motion. And then here's the object going to come in. And it does move in pretty quick. Alright. And I'm going to leave the video. As always, you can check it out. Enlarge the screen, you'll be able to see the UFO checking out the plane. UFO sighting over Atmore, Alabama. This goes back to the 5th of the month. There's no description, just the sighting itself. Atmore, Alabama. It's a nice long wow, that's interesting. Very interesting. And we have something else here now. We have 2 things. That was very weird. I haven't seen one of those before. Alright, next we have videos of the UFO Experiencer. A tremendous surge in activity in the last few weeks has enabled me to post this series once again. Some of the most interesting uploads over the last 2 months can be found in this video. Everything featured can be located inside the description box. Thank you for replying to my messages and allowing me to share your material. However, I still wait for a few responses. Okay, so 12 minutes 35 seconds for the video. But this is a nice compilation of lots of different sightings, ones that we have talked about. Okay, so check that out. It's 12 minutes and 35 seconds worth of sightings. This story asks us about USOs. Mysterious craft off the coast of Sweden sparks hunt for USO, known as an unidentified submerged object. A mysterious craft which surfaced in the Baltic Sea has left Swedish forces scanning the ocean with specialized sensors, as some speculate that a high-tech submarine could be in the area, and others suspect more mysterious forces are at play. Ships, helicopters, and troops are said to be investigating foreign underwater activity in the Baltic Sea, 30 miles off Stockholm. A photo was released yesterday showing what appeared to be a craft surrounded by white ripples, which are said to have then submerged. I've decided to increase the number of units in the area. Units with specialized sensors, Commander Jonas Wikenstrom told the reporters at a press conference in Stockholm. Some UFO websites are convinced that the object might be a USO, an unidentified submerged object. After a spate of early sightings in the area, including an unearthly mushroom-like object sighted in the seabed in 2011. Could the mysterious Russian submarine actually a Dutch sub, Or is this another mysterious activity involving a UFO, some ask? Nigel Watson, author of the UFO Investigations Manual, says, in the last 100 years, there's been a steady transition from seeing apparently terrestrial biological sea or lake monsters to seeing unidentified submarines or terrestrial aliens and their craft. Often what in the past were regarded as the red eyes of a water monster are now interpreted as the red lights of an unidentified submerged object. There are many sightings of UFOs flying in and out of our oceans, which suggest that these craft have secret underwater bases that they use to operate from. Concentrations of sightings indicate that bases are in the North Sea, Black Sea, and off the coast of California and Puerto Rico. All right, then one more. And this one is also about a USO, but this one is about the first submerged object recorded in the USA, and it goes to Boston, 1644. In January 1644, America's first USO, or unidentified submerged object, was sighted. A USO is an aquatic UFO. Governor John Winthrop made 2 entries in his journal in regard to this unholy affair. Captain John Chaddock's ship blew up at Battery Street in the North End. 5 men lost their lives. Soon after, unexplained lights appeared in the sky. The citizens of Boston eventually ascertained that one of Chaddock's men had conjured up the spirits of the dead soldiers, which was the origin of the mysterious lights. Chaddock was essentially a pirate and had previously attempted to colonize Trinidad with a party of Bostonians. Exactly 16 days after the blowing up of Captain Chaddock's ill-fated ship and crew, and just at the witching hour of midnight, as Shakespeare calls it, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes forth contagion in the air, 3 men in a boat coming toward Boston, a strange hour for reputable Puritans to be so far from home, saw 2 bright lights rise out of the water at a place where the vessel had been blown up just off of the North Ferry slip. They made the still more inexplicable observation that the 2 lights assumed the form of a man and sailed leisurely off into the water to the south, keeping a short distance from the shore till it reached the point now occupied by Rose Wharf at the foot of Franklin Street, where it vanished as suddenly as it had appeared just 15 minutes before. The story was told and retold about the town for the next few days till the whole population had reached a mental condition that made them capable of seeing ghosts of Chaddock's buccaneers if given any kind of a chance. A week after the event just described, the old records say the twin lights were seen again by many, but this time they arose off Castle Island, and after traveling through the air just 12 minutes, vanished at the spot where the remains of the ship were resting. The restless spirits of the deep continue to make things satisfactorily terrifying for those who are out late o' night on the waterfront. All right, I'm going to leave this for you to read more about it. But in the last couple days, we've had stories that take us back to the 1600s, well before America became an independent nation. There were various sightings going on here. They've been going on around the world for a long time. That is our UFO news. I'll be back and we shall continue on. Stay tuned.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Great Spirit, send down your love, send down your love.
us the way, show us the way to live in peace every day. Great Spirit, show us the way, show us the way, show us the way to live in peace every day. Oh, 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 oh.
All right, let's continue on. Dreams. We all have dreams. We all sleep at night. This is an article that talks about that. It says, do we have the ability to communicate with others while dreaming? Good question. Many of us have experienced this type of thing in our dreams and wonder. Dream telepathy suggests that human beings have the ability to communicate telepathically with another person while they are dreaming. This isn't a new concept. Scientific interest in telepathy dates back to the fathers of the psychoanalytic movement. Freud, for example, considered telepathy and the implications of it with regards to psychoanalytical thought. He also considered dream telepathy, or the telepathic influence or thought on dreaming, on multiple occasions. Carl Jung believed in the telepathic hypothesis without question, and even developed a theoretical system to explain paranormal events of this nature. All great minds seem to encourage the study of various types of non-physical phenomena. The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in 1 decade than all the previous centuries of its existence. That's a quote from Nikola Tesla. A wealth of anecdotal and clinical material exists which supports the possibility of telepathic effects occurring in dreams. However, an experimental approach to the topic did not become possible until physiological laboratory technology became available. It was discovered that sleeping research participants awakened from periods of rapid eye movement activity were frequently able to recall dream episodes. As a result, it was possible to request a telepathic receiver to attempt dreaming about a target stimulus that was being focused on in a distant location from a telepathic sender. In the mid-60s, Montague Altman, MD, began a number of experiments at Maimonides Medical Center in Brooklyn, New York, to test the hypothesis that sleeping people could dream about randomly selected material that they were targeting to dream about. In other words, they could choose what they wanted to dream about. Some examples include artwork, movies, photographs, and more. Shortly after these experiments began, she was joined by Sandy Krippner. Krippner is a PhD and a professor of psychology at Saybrook University, with a very impressive background when it comes to scientific study of dreams, psychology, and parapsychology. The experiments they conducted lasted a span of more than 10 years and yielded significant results. Okay. All right. So I'm going to leave this for you. It's a very interesting study. But let's continue on with our study of Atlantis. So we've covered it pretty good. Here's some more information I thought would really be a good way to kind of bring it all together now. About the wisdom of the Atlanteans. Wisdom of the first book of Atlanteans. This is the great message of the world, peace for our modern world today. This is the knowledge of the first book before your second book, the Holy Bible. This is the book of Atlantot, tell all truth. To understand the city of Atlantis, you have to understand the tribes of the Atlanteans. Atlantis is a legend about a large island in the Atlantic Ocean that was preserved by the Egyptians from 970 BC, according to the Atlantean script from Solon, a Greek statesman that brought back with him from his visit to Sais, Egypt, and Libyan pharaoh Asmasis II around 570 to 564 BC. Udohor Resne, the head Egyptian priest, physician, and naval admiral, along with other priests like Suchonis, revealed the legend of Atlantis to Solon upon his inequity into antiquity. Unknown to the Greeks, it was forgotten and retained from Egypt in the temple of Neith and the sacred registers, as Plato's Timaeus tells us. which Plato preserved around 360 BC. Most likely a Greek and Egyptian-speaking scribe copied the story from Solon to take back home with him upon his return to Athens, Greece. Chalcidius, a Latin scribe who we know little about, may have been St. Augustine, would preserve Plato's work from his original notebook and later penned perhaps in Syracuse, Sicily, around 350 AD. Coincidentally, this was also where Plato penned the Timaeus and Critias, while in servitude to Demonius around 360 BC. This was based on my study of Oxford's Miss Digby slides at the Chaldeus Timaeus Latin manuscript and translated by myself. To better understand Atlantis, it is easier to view the Timaeus, which was written before the Critias, as the original mention of the legend, which was cleverly hidden in the astrological account of life's origins and dynamics of physics, which take us back to the said 9,000 years prior to the seed of Hephaestus and Athena. This account would have been the original Azores, Atlantis I, prior to the great disaster of Atlantis, and past the Pillars of Hercules at Gibraltar, some 300 miles to the Josephine and Automode seamounts in the Atlantic Ocean. Later, the more vivid account of Atlantis as a social structure and a technological achievement, such as tyrannies, chariots, aqueducts, canals, temples, irrigation, 10 twin kings, and such, was clarified by Plato's account of Critias. This is also thought to be written around the same era of 360 BC, which takes us into the Bronze Age and no later than 1500 BC, to Deucalions, or 10 kings, flood in the Battle of Ares. In reality, the two works preserved by Plato, Timaeus and Critias, tell us of a realistic time span from 9570 BC to 1500 BC. The legend has been doctrined into the human mind as the myth for 2,575 years, simply for lack of verification of our royal city, which vanished from the Great Destruction. Truth of life is that the Atlanteans have never completely vanished and were initial contributors to our advanced technological Earth of today, and also were all humans descended from the first garden of creation. Simply clarified, any lands touching upon the Atlantic are in fact Atlantean lands, where Atlanteans still exist. This includes America, South America, Africa, England, Scotland, Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, Northwest Africa, and any and all Atlantic islands to this very day in our present time and to our future. The regions of Northwest Africa, Tarraconensis, Iberia, and all mid-European and mid-African lands are the highest accounts of the names, particularly to Atlantis, and their etymological roots derive from Linear A, for the product of Azalon and Gallosi scripts of our first alphabet some 1,200 years ago, 12,000 years ago. Another prime example is the ancient name for Mauritania, which is known as Gulata, such as Iberia was known as Gaul or Gallia to France, or the Gauches in the Canary Islands, and many rivers of Gauss or Gades, Spain, and Agades, Mauritan. The reason for these names for the territories around the Pillars of Hercules is simply because of the great mouth or throat of the Mediterranean, which engulfed the waters of Neptune's Atlantic Ocean, Ga or Gua. In its deepest form is a body part, specifically a throat. The Phoenicians commonly attributed Ga or God to indicate animal body parts. Agua also means water in European Romance languages, which would complement these tribes living around the Atlantic or Mediterranean as people of earth, water, lands. Gawa, water, La, land, and place, Ta, earth. In essence, many Atlantean cities simply changed over time from subjugations or evolvement, such as Lipson, Portugal, Cadiz, and Tartossus, Tarraco, Santander, Spain, Atlania, Barbinia, Tarconesius, Iberia, Lixus, Morocco, Carthage, Fala in Lake Tritonis, Crane, Libya, Artrano, Orentano, Italy, Sicily, Tarxan, Malta, Ahad, Taita, Phaseus, Knossos, and the great Mesra plains of Crete, the Peloponnese, Atlantis Greek, Eurobia, Troya, Bosdag, Anatolia, Ecbatana, Atlanta, Levant, Tanis, Tala Aha, Al Mansura, Abu Rosh, Cairo, Saqqara, and further south to the Atlantis, second upon the once large island of Tantasia, Avila, and past the broken pillars of Erythea and to Ethiopia, are but some of the vast empires of Atlantis in the ages past. The Atlanteans are known to have arrived through the throat of the Mediterranean from the largest island in the Atlantic. In essence, there are only two such throats of the Pillars of Hercules that provide passage to the Atlantic: Etheria, Gibraltar, and Etheria, Ethiopian Red Sea, also in tune with the mystery of Atlantis, twins. To exemplify the uniqueness of languages and how Guatalia is a derivative of Atlantis, we only need to look at the translation from Bostraphodon for the word Gulata, which would be Atlatog. Backwards, originally we have U was a Y and the G was a C in our language. Histories reveal that Atlantis. This is another test upon the word Atlantis, which in itself stands providence and is composed of many true hidden meanings that are indicative of refuting any falsehood associated with the word Atlantis. In short, after 2,575 years of denial, it's time that the world accepts the fact and verification that Atlantises and Atlanteans are in fact living amongst breathing humans, such as myself, who comes there from the mid-Atlantic waters, and for the most part since 6482 BC, and our Father's recreation of us. We are primarily Atlantean ancestor today in our highly technological world upon Earth. This in itself is a great message for peace, for understanding that we came from the same place and the same families. Alright, a lot more into this article. Okay, I'm going to leave that for you, because I'm going to jump over here to this other article. It's the Emerald Tablet of Hermes, because one of those who resided during that time was Thoth. Dr. Duriel, who has a connection with the Great White Lodge, which also works through the Pyramid priesthood, was instructed to recover and return to the Great Pyramid these ancient tablets. This was accomplished, but before returning there, Duriel was given permission to translate and retain a copy of the wisdom engraved on the tablets. This was done in 1925, and now permission has been given for the translation by Duriel to be published solely through the Brotherhood of the White Temple. This is the only authorized and original and true rendition of these emerald tablets. It is expected that many will scoff, yet the true student will read between the lines and gain wisdom and light. If the light is in you, the light which is engraved in the tablets will respond. When Thoth, the Atlantean and master, raised the people of Chem to a great civilization, and when time came for him to leave Egypt, he erected the Great Pyramid over the entrance of the great halls of Amenti. In the pyramid he posited his records and appointed guards for his secrets from among the highest of his people. In later times the descendants of these guards became the pyramid priests, while Thoth was deified as the god of wisdom, the recorder by those in the age of darkness which followed his passing. In legend, the halls of Amenti became the underworld, the halls of the gods, where the souls passed after death for judgment. During later ages, the ego of Thoth passed into the bodies of men in the manner described in the Emerald Tablets, a book of the record and the occult wisdom which he wrote and left in the pyramid for those of the future age of light. His writings consist of 12 tablets of emerald green, formed from a substance created through alchemical transmutation. They are imperishable, resistant to all the elements, corrosion, and acids. In effect, the atomic and cellular structure is fixed and no change can take place, thus violating the material law of ionization. Upon them are engraved characters in the ancient Atlantean language, characters which respond to the attuned thought waves of the reader and which releases much more wisdom and information than the characters do when merely deciphered. The tablets are fastened together with hoops of golden colored alloy suspended from a rod of the same material. Dr. Doreel has translated his work and has published through the Brotherhood of the White Temple a translation of 10 of these 12 tablets. He divided them into 13 parts for the sake of convenience. The last 2 tablets are found in the interpretation of the Emerald Tablets, also by Dr. Doreel. In the Emerald Tablets are found secrets which will prove of unestimatable value to the serious student. The following is an excerpt taken from this work. A long time ago, in my childhood, lay 'neath the stairs in long-buried Atlantis, dreaming of mysteries far above men. Then in my heart grew there a great longing to conquer the pathway that led to the stars. Year after year I sought after wisdom, seeking new knowledge, following the way, until at last my soul in great travail broke from its bondage of earthman. Free from the body I flashed through the night. Unlocked at last for me was the star space. Free was I from the bondage of night. Now to the end of space sought I wisdom far beyond the knowledge of finite man. Originally published in mimeograph form from 1930s by mysterious Dr. Doreel, these writings quickly became an underground sensation among exotericists at the time. Tablets 1 through 3 are part of the original work. Tablets 14 and 15 are supplemental. No one has ever seen the original tablets mentioned here, and in all likelihood these writings would be considered channeled material today. However, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean, are still part of the modern corpus hermeticism, for they elaborate and deepen the meaning of the historical Emerald Tablets in the writings of Thoth Hermes. Okay, and here we have the tablets. Let me just go to the preface here. In the following pages I will reveal some of the mysteries which as have yet been touched upon lightly by either myself or other teachers or students of truth. Man's search for understanding of the laws which regulate his life have been unending, yet always just beyond the veil which shields the higher planes from the material man's vision. The truth has existed, ready to be assimilated by those who enlarge their vision by turning inward, not outward, in their search. In the silence of material senses lies the key to the unveiling wisdom. He who talks does not know. He who knows does not talk. The highest knowledge is unutterable, for it exists as an entity in the lanes which transcend all material words or symbols. All symbols are but keys to doors leading to truth, and many times the door is not open because the key seems so great that the things which are beyond it are not visible. If we can understand that all keys, all material symbols or manifestations are but extensions of the great law and truth, we will begin to develop the vision which will enable us to penetrate beyond the veil. All things in all universes move according to law, and the law which regulates the movement of the planets is no more immutable than the law which regulates the material expression of man. One of the greatest of all cosmic laws is that which is responsible for the formation of man as a material being. The great aim of the mystery schools of all ages has been to reveal the workings of the law which connect man to the material and place the spiritual. The connecting link between the material man and the spiritual man is the intellectual man, for the mind partakes both of the material and immaterial qualities. The aspirant for higher knowledge must develop the intellectual side of his nature and so strengthen his will that is able to concentrate all powers of his being on and in the plane he desires. The great search for light, life, and love only begins in the material plane. Carried to its ultimate, its final goal is complete oneness with universal consciousness. The foundation in the material is in the first step, then comes the highest goal of the spiritual attainment. In the following pages I will give an interpretation of the Emerald Tablets and their secret, hidden and esoteric meanings. Concealed in the words of Thoth are the many meanings that do not appear on the surface. Knowledge of light brought to bear upon the tablets will open many new fields of thought. Read and be wise, but only if the light in your own consciousness awakens the deep-seated understanding, which is an inherent quality of the soul in the threefold light, Doreel. Well, we now have our next course of study. So we're going to make this transition from Atlantis the study of Atlantis. Now it's taken us to Thoth and the Emerald Tablets, and you can see there's a number of writings there. So we're going to follow the Emerald Tablets until we get through them. Next one will be on Wednesday. So Wednesdays now, we're going to be moving on from Atlantis to some of the study of Atlantis, which was the Emerald Tablets. That brings us to an article here over at In5D. This one is called Why It Is Important to Change Your Frequency by Christina Sarich. May you live in interesting times is considered a Chinese curse, but could it also be a blessing to live in such a chaotic time on this planet? Many of you reading this will shake your heads in the negative, feeling a woeful inclination to just throw in the towel and stick your head in the freezer. Others may simply inquire as an intriguing nugget worth chewing on. No matter what side of the bed you wake up on, it's hard to deny that we live in a fascinating epoch of human history. Without elaborating on the numerous theories about planetary alignment, or the possible end of the world or beginning of another, let alone the repeated tendency in human history for people to reinvent themselves and thus society, I offer that it is a very essential time for a personal shift in each of us. We can't wait. When your body is full of toxins through no fault of your own, and there are estimated to be 80 to 100,000 toxic chemicals produced and released into the environment since World War I, and you are full of carcinogens due to a poor diet, according to the National Academic Press. We consume carcinogens that naturally occur in our air and water, but also at an alarming rate based on the food choices we make, largely because of synthetic foodstuffs made and consumed in the U.S. and Europe. It is imperative to make lifestyle changes. Documentaries like Super Size Me have made this abundantly clear. However, if you add to this perfect storm the fact that many people, especially in the U.S., are mostly sedentary, along with electromagnetic pollution and stress levels which are astronomically high due to political and social factors like falling economies and higher jobless rates, it becomes a life and death choice in many cases to start to find other ways to support the physiological and emotional health of the human race. With every type of cancer on the rise, new names for suicide being coined in Japan due to the level of overwork which employees are subject to, and the sheer insanity of many modern social constructs, we are being pushed literally into new healing paradigms. The old medical sciences are great for resetting bones or conducting top-down remedies for ailing and aging populations, but alternative medicine, including energy healing, as mentioned by Dr. Oz on mainstream television recently, have a pivotal place in these interesting times. Modalities range from sound and musical therapies to touch therapy to positive psychology. In fact, there is a recent rise in studying not just what makes human beings sad, but what makes them happy. It's a revolutionary change in focus. Ancient healing practices looked at the individual as part of an entire system and only prescribed healing taking this fact into account. Modern medicine has made great strides in dissecting every cell and every DNA of the human experiment, but often failed to see the collective infection, be it mental or otherwise, which causes such rampant sickness. It shows up as autism, depression, cancer, arthritis, fibromyalgia, ADHD, and thousands of other ailments. Despite all the illness in our environment and ourselves, there are ways to heal the human structure at the very core. And while it would be great if we could clean up the air and water as well as dispose of all the toxic chemicals we poured into our environment in a safe, permanent way, it is possible that the human form may be laid to complete waste before the process is complete. The planet will heal herself before choking out completely on our toxic fumes. If in order to save herself she has not let us die off, it is quite probable that she will. This is what history has shown us. Right, then it shows various ways. Quite possibly, though, we can heal the mental state which caused such toxicity in the first place. We can use ancient teachings of balancing the chakras using vibratory frequency and sound. We can heal with gemstones, with yoga, qigong, martial arts, and breathing practices. As positive psychology attests, we can attentively watch over the thoughts we think and the things we say, making sure that we live in gratitude and appreciation for others, rather than the more egoic sense of lack that causes us to consume more than the planet can comfortably support and our bodies can comfortably shore up. There is an ocean of good available to us, and if we start to look at alternatives other than the ones that are predominantly propagated through the disease culture that brought us here in the first place. Maybe it seems outrageous that you could get rid of disease by changing your thoughts or listening to some pleasant music every day. But we were meant to heal ourselves and not give that power away to some other person, establishment, or company. By changing your frequency, you change how you relate to the world. You change how you see yourself and others. You change the very basis disease at its root in the societal assumptions we've all made that our healing starts somewhere else instead of within ourselves, and thus the choices we make. It's time to take a radical stand and support our own energetic evolution. Without doing so, we may follow the lead of dinosaurs and be a distant memory of this great spinning ball in space. Good article. Good point about the article. We do need to know how to heal ourselves. We need to do this, and we need to do it now. And what if it is so simple as just thinking about positive thoughts? That's what we're told. We're told it's simple. But yet we overcomplicate things, and we think, oh no, it can't be so simple. We turn on the news, and the news talks about all these deadly diseases. It can't be so simple just to change the channel and to think positively. But it is. Just in the same way that the media sends out fear, 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 and more fear about all the diseases, your mind can send out positivity, 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 and counteract all that fear that they're putting out there. That's it. It's that simple. We just need to listen and understand that the teachings that came before us that they say are simple, and just apply them. But most of the time we don't apply things because we don't believe they're as simple as we're told that they are until we try. Here's our message for today from Archangel Michael.
Message from Archangel Michael.
Channeled by Sandy McGonigal, October 21st to November 30th, 2014.
Archangel Michael.
Dearest ones, humans who have incarnated as human angels in this lifetime, now is the time to claim your birthright and let your radiance shine through. Every morning, when you first awake, take a moment to breathe in the angelic frequencies from your angelic guides that surround your bed at night. These are energetic tones, colors, and sparkling radiance that are being sent to you during the time you are dreaming, flooding your etheric light body. In order to fully receive this light quotient, you must consciously integrate this into your physical body when you awake. Integration is the key towards co-creation within the angelic realms. Soon you will become aware during your waking hours that you are in fact drawing people, circumstances, and opportunities towards you. People, places, nature, your car, your home, even the coffee shops and stores you frequent all receive your energy blessing. Water is particularly important to send healing energy and love frequencies into. Standing water found in lakes, running water in streams, creeks, and rivers, and large bodies of water, as in oceans, all need to be transformed to their next highest states as well by receiving your loving energies. Even ordinary tap water benefits from receiving loving thoughts. Connect to the power of love each day and send it out wherever you go, and see the blessings that enrich your life in the most unexpected ways. As fall covers the northern hemisphere with spectacular colors and wet weather, the earth takes a turn away from the sunlight. It is a time for quiet reflection and a time of great planning for the winter months ahead. Many people will find old friends showing up, some who may have been absent for years. This is a time to dust off your creative projects that have been waiting for your attention and focus. There are many creative archangels to call on when you are working on projects. Archangel Jophiel can help to bring your creative expressions out to the world if you request his help with this. Another archangel to call on is Gabriel, who helps with communication on all levels. In fact, each one of you listening or reading these words now is an artist of some sort. Inside your soul is an expression of creativity that the world needs you to tap into and express. Dig deep into your personal treasure chest of talents and ask yourself, what are you most drawn to learning or doing creatively now? What ideas come to mind? The universe has a way of magnetizing things to encourage you to explore your creativity. The beauty of art is meant to be shared on some level with others. Find your inner artist, use colors that you love, Even drawing with crayons or colored pencils can be rewarding to your soul. Let's get creative now.
Message from Archangel Michael.
All right. Time to get creative. Good message. We're all creative individuals. Just need to do it. Meditation time. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. And another deep breath. And exhale. Imagine yourself walking along the path. And as you walk along the path, you see people having challenges, troubles. You see people who are sad and sick and confused. So as you're walking the path, feeling healthy, happy and whole, happy, healthy, and whole, you feel compassion for all these individuals, for what they're feeling. So you send out love and light, healing energy. And you see those who at once were confused and sick, feeling healthy and clear-minded. And as they were inspired by the energy you put out, they in turn put out good vibes and inspire others as well. And the process continues on and on. And we realize that each and every one of us has the ability to make a change in this world. All we have to do is believe in ourselves and believe in the gifts that we have been given. The gifts of the mind, the gifts of the soul. Let us contemplate today's affirmation. Whatever I am going through, I know that I am an overcomer, and that I will come out stronger than before. I am an overcomer. So know that whatever situation is going on, not only do we have the ability to overcome, but we can then inspire others to overcome as well. So let's imagine as we go into the world today, simply being an expression of light and love, and being an example for others to see. Let's just send out light and love along the way to all those we meet and see, even though they may not know who we are. Just silently send out light and love. Think positive thoughts, and let that be enough. So let our subconscious mind continue on that journey, and let our conscious mind come back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3. Coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2. Coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1. Coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. There you have it, my friends. That's it for today. Thank you very much for being here. I'll be back tomorrow, and we shall continue on with our normal Thursday routine as we always do. Until then, have an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll be back tomorrow. Peace. I'm out of here.